3, 2, 1, go ahead.
All right. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to this April 19th, 2021 meeting of the River Falls Utility Advisory Board. We're going to start our meeting with a roll call. Is that me?
No.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
We can't hear you, Lene.
Lenny, we can barely hear you.
Okay, Burning. Hear me now? Or no?
Hear you now.
Okay, thank you. All right, Morset,
Here?
Richter,
Here.
Spafford,
Here.
Swanson, Hume,
Here.
Wells Mangold.
Thank you. Moving on. We've got the minutes from the March 15th, 2021 meeting. Can I get a motion for approval?
Make a motion, we approve the minutes from March 15th.
Second. Thank you, Tim. All right. All in favor of approving the meeting, the minutes? Say aye.
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 Thank you. All right. I was told we have one person watching at City Hall, but no public comments, John. Is that correct?
That's correct. She just affirmed that.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Yep.
All right. Then we're going to move on to the consent agenda. We've got the minutes from the West Central Wisconsin Biosolids Facility Commission from February 18th. Can I get a motion for approval there?
I make a motion, we approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Thanks, guys. Okay. All in favor of approval, say aye.
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 Very good. All right. We are on to reports. And Kevin, are we starting with the finance report because we cut it short last time?
Yep, and I'll do that, and I'll backfill as I go into that, okay? So
Thank
on
you.
the original agenda, we were going to approve the removal of the South Main lift station, as well as some sewer casing under Highway 29, which is South Main, and a water casing crossing. We did select, went out to the bid for bid, did the whole normal bid process. We received 3 bids. We did have a low bidder. It was a local contractor. And then 2 or 3 days after the bid, it was beginning of last week, the low bidder informed Ron that they missed some, they misbid it. And so Ron and I talked, and we confirmed with our attorney that we have got to follow the normal bid process. You can't be adding or subtracting anything after a public bid has been opened. And the contractor has then had the option of either forfeiting the bid bond, which was about $7,500, or to do the project as bid. So Ron lobbied that back at the contractor. They took a few days to consider, and they let Ron know late last week that they are going to do the project as bid. So, but it was too late to get it into your packet. So that's why I removed it from the agenda tonight. With that said, we would like to get this to council May 11th. So if we're able to reconvene for just a real short time on May 3rd, I'll send an email out to that effect. And if you can join us, so we can get that approved at the UAB level on May 3rd, that'd be the only thing we would attack that night. That way, and if we're okay with that date, Lene will put it in the paper this week so we have a public notice on that meeting. So is everybody okay with getting together for 5 or 6 minutes on May 3rd? Okay.
That's fine with me.
Okay, good. Okay, we'll do that then. Then we'll have that out to you for your review for that project. So that's what happened there. So
Just
yeah,
you would like me to send out a meeting invite?
Yeah, for May 3rd. So we'll have Lene will coordinate that with you, John. But yes,
All right.
Yes, it'll be a public meeting.
Yep. Thank you.
And with that said, Patrick, I'm going to move right into the financial report. Then is that okay?
Very good.
All right. Just some Maybe that's why I'm a little more upbeat tonight, because our funds are doing a lot better than they were last year. Last year, we were seeing the effect of the March shutdown last year in our first quarter numbers. So this year, much better, especially on the electric fund side. Year-to-date revenues are 3.5 million. Expenses are 3.3 million. Cash and investments, we have 3.7 million on hand. So I'll just leave it there. Water fund, year-to-date revenues, 519,000. Expenses, 484,000. Cash and investments on hand, 3.4 million. Here's something interesting. Year-to-date sales are 1.6 million gallons higher than last year. Now, 1.6 million gallons sounds like a lot, but it really, just to be fair, is we pump about between 1.1 and 1.2 million gallons every day. So over a month, but hey, it's 1,000,006 gallons is more than last year. Sewer fund revenues, 884,000. Year-to-date expenses, 647,000. Things are looking good there. Cash and investments, 3.3 million. And the stormwater fund revenues, 145,000. Expenses, 118,000. Cash and investments, 861,000. So I think everything's positive for electric, water, sewer, and stormwater. Great quarter, and hopefully things will continue as long as things stay open. Just briefly on the electric last year, we talked about it. I'm beating a dead horse here, but it was the shutdown of our public institutions, both the university and the school district last March, really had an effect on our electric funds. So recovering from that, along with a rate increase we implemented last October, I think we should be sitting good for the year. Overall summary, cumulative accounts receivable for all funds are about 1.9 million. Of this balance, 147,500 is 31 or more days past due. Let me hit on that just a little bit. Today was disconnection notice day, and if people are not paid up or do not have a payment arrangement by Wednesday, we will be doing disconnects for the first time in almost 2 years this Wednesday. So I know the customer service up front has been working very hard. They were making personal calls. We contacted every single person who was $500 or more behind, and they're doing a great job collecting money. People are coming in and people are getting caught up. So I think they had 20 left on the list. So they were whittled it down from over 400 to.
So
20.
Kevin, if I could, just a quick question. Do we have a sense of any unfortunate ones that may end up disconnected? Are they less than a handful? Or are they?
It'll be less than a handful. So typically we'll get it down to 4 or 5 on disconnect day. Scott, it looks like we're headed in the same direction this time.
Okay. And just to support what you said, we are not looking to shut people off. We're looking for people to step up and make some sort of arrangements with the city. And the last thing we want to do as a public utility is shut people off. That's not what we're about.
Call into customer service, and a payment arrangement, not in full, but an arrangement will keep you in electricity, keep electricity on at your house.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yep. And we did a social media post last week that I think I gave about 7 or 8 resources you can call for help. And if you call the front desk and we can give you that information as well. If the customer wants help with utility payment assistance, we can get you pointed in the right direction. That's what I have for the financial report.
Okay. Next we have point number 4, the COVID-19 Madison Wastewater Study Participation Dashboard. Ron gave us an update on that, and I assume this is a continuation of that.
Just real quick, Lene has a slide she's going to pull up for us and put on there and just show you, and then Ron can talk to the slide. Again, this is not a definite indicator about what's happening in a community, but it might potentially, there might be some correlation. So Lene is pulling up the slide, not up yet. It's coming. Here it comes. And then Ron will just talk to this. And you can see by the graph, I looked at this earlier today, that, just go to the next slide. You can see the numbers are down at the end of the slide. Ron, go ahead. You can say it better than I can.
Sure. Yeah. Basically last time we were talking about the increase and what was the explanation, or really what didn't bear out in the testing. But since then, we've taken a dive. So, it's probably more in line with where the testing is right now. So, and they are going to continue for a while here yet. I haven't gotten an end date yet. So it goes on. We're doing it once a week. We're back to once a week. So, yeah, I guess all in interest of science.
It'll be interesting to see how all these communities come together and how it plays out in the long run and what they learn out of the study. But we're participating, and like Ron said, you can see that dive here. As the community gets healthier, the numbers get lower. So
And Ron, just to reiterate, this is just the sample at the where it flows into the city. We're not going out and pulling up a manhole cover in every neighborhood and saying, here's the sample here, here's the sample there. This is just one giant picture of River Falls.
Correct. And, for a little while there, we were doing it every day. So now we're back to, this is only one sample at the wastewater plant a week. So every Tuesday morning, we send a sample off. So that's what we're seeing the last, 3-4 weeks here right now.
we're participating, and it could be some interesting information. That's all we have on that, unless there's any questions.
Thanks, Ron. All right, moving on to point 5. We're at the utility dashboards.
I think utility dashboards really were covered in my financial report. You can, it breaks it down a little bit more, but well, actually, that's Mike Noreen's page. There on page 21. So we've collected $3,534.51 in incentives year to date. So from the Focus on Energy group in Madison. I think what we should do is we should go right into monthly utility reports. I've got just a couple minutes on each of these disciplines. We might hit on some of these dashboard items in the utility reports, if you don't mind, Patrick.
That'd be great. Go ahead.
All right. So what I did, I had Ron and Wayne just prepare, I think, 3 or 4 slides each to talk a little bit about what they're doing in water, sewer, and electric. And let's have Wayne go first. Wayne's crews have been really busy with new construction, installing the electric backbone and new construction. And Wayne, Linnae's going to pull up some of these maps of where we're working, and Wayne can just briefly describe what areas of town we're working in, and you'll see the impact of what some of this new residential construction has had on Wayne's crews. Linnae?
Yep,
Good evening, everyone. I'll wait for Linnae to get the slides up.
Yeah, as she's pulling the slides up, I'll just announce that Luke Bauman just passed his 4th year journeyman's test last Thursday with a score of 95 and some change. So Luke is now an official journeyman after his 4-year journey. No pun intended there. So hats off and congratulations to Luke. And you now have another full-time journeyman lineman. And then in your packet, you saw we also hired a replacement for Garrett Lease, who went to a utility down south where he grew up, him and his wife, and he left for there. And we hired a local person, Cody Krieger. And Cody was working for St. Croix Gas, and he's now with River Falls Municipal Utilities. He has a little bit of an electric background, and he's gone to lineman school as well. And he'll be a great fit for our organization. Excited to have Cody.
Yeah. Cody will be attending school in the fall through the apprenticeship program as well. So another great addition to the team.
Hey, you got her pulling up?
I'm unfortunately getting the circle of deaths. I restarted it, so I'm so sorry. It's not pulling up yet for me.
Kevin, are you going to be going over any studies or any of those issues here in the next few minutes?
I was gonna leave that all to rest tonight to give everybody's mind a breather.
Okay, I won't force it then. No news is good news?
No news is good news.
Okay.
No news is good news.
I
I would say we're lobbying. So Scott Simpson and I were with a lobbyist and state representative last Friday. We're trying to figure out how to have the state or federal government help us with funding for the project. So we're trying to get in on the state budget somewhere for a million and some change to see if they can get some financing to help us with our dam project. Dam project.
All right.
All right, Wayne, here you go.
Here we are. So, yeah, Lene, if we can start right into the little side note. We've already talked about AMI, but here's the meters that's been installed, including water, up to date on how many meters we have done so far. So we're sitting just a little over 2,800 meters on the system now. So, and then water is added there as well. So project is coming along, slow and meticulous, I guess, with the last year's stop of the project. So yeah, it's picking up speed in 2021, and hopefully we'll get close to or over 4,000 meters by end of the year. Knock on wood. So
It's well over halfway.
yep. Next slide. Yeah, we're gonna go right into some of the projects that most of you guys know about, but this is obviously the DeSanctis Park development. Buildings 1 and 2 are being slated to get services starting early in May. For building 1, looks like sounds like they want to be tenants in there by June 1st. So we met with them last week and went over the plan to get primary extensions to both buildings 1 and 2 with 1 transformer. And then buildings 3 and 4 will come later this year, serving about 23 customers per building out there at this park. Then Storing Ponds 3 is tentatively kind of set next week for us to do our joint trench out there. We're working with other utilities, Comcast and St. Croix Gas, and looking to install about 32 residential homes services here early next week, depending on health of our team moving forward. Then, and some of you also know Highview Meadows, 6th, 7th, and 8th editions is coming out there. 35 lots in edition number 6. So it's a busy time frame with residential customers in the city of River Falls early this year. So,
Mr. Morissette, have you driven across the road and driven through there and seen the progress?
I have not driven up in Highview Meadows. My parents actually moved in to that subdivision just almost next to Division, but I need to drive back in there and take a look.
far as I understand, there's no dirt that's been moved on this portion yet. But from what I understand, they're looking to do some stuff soon. And then we have some planned outages. It's going to affect some residential customers here in Spring Creek. During our annual inspections, we found that we had a piece of equipment that needs to be replaced, and unfortunately is going to affect all these customers, about 175 of them total in this area. We were working with Lene's been helping with us, and we're setting up some door tags and trying to outreach some of these customers. We were looking to do a planned outage sometime next week, but I mentioned the health of our team. We're kind of tight on help. We've had some close contacts and people are not at home, so we'll probably have to postpone this planned outage, but we'll have to make sure these customers are well aware of our timetable and communication. I know with Kevin and I, we're looking at either doing this during the day or after hours. Kevin and I have talked about.
Yeah, I'd like to bounce this off the group. So Wayne, we're talking about an outage from 9 a.m. to maybe noon.
Correct.
You know, in the old days, pre-COVID, that's a great time to have a planned outage. So what we're debating, is that still a good time to have a planned outage when people are schooling at home and working from home? But then there, I said, what about 3 a.m? And then Wayne says, well, then you have line trucks going up and down the street with lights on, and then people are waking up, and that's not good either. So I don't know, when is a good time to have a planned outage? Is 9 a.m. to noon? Is that still an okay time? I mean, when is the best time? Nobody likes to be out ever, but these 100 people are going to be out for a couple hours.
I
Yeah,
would wonder if maybe 3 to 5 in the afternoon would be a better time. I don't know.
right. Yeah, and that's something I think Kevin and I discussed too. It's now you're affecting, kids getting out of school, all that preparation of supper. It's the yin and yang of how many people are home, how many people are at, typically, giving enough notice to customers. If we do find an issue or many issues, we will move our tentative dates to accommodate our customers' needs. So it can be
Communication early and often.
right. Yeah, it can be challenging to coordinate this many customers with one outage. The 3 a.m. one will affect every customer with all the noise that we'll be making in the neighborhood. So that's the concern, especially it'll affect not only this neighborhood, but it'll affect everyone around it as well. So
Someone's not going to be happy in this.
I would say the 3 a.m. would not be a good idea. I mean, if you think about people who have CPAP machines and those types of things, that's just probably not a good idea to disrupt that in the middle of the night, or other monitoring things or different things. I think I'd stay away from the middle of the night idea, especially if we're planning an outage. I think you're probably going to have to stick with the 9 to noon, because it doesn't sound like there's any better ideas. I mean, once people are ready to go to work, and if they work from home, maybe they do have an option that day of going into an office somewhere. But it doesn't sound like there's an easy win anywhere, other than, like I said, I think I'd advise not to do it in the middle of the night.
I would agree with the 9 to noon. Working from home myself, I start at 7:30, and by the time 9 o'clock rolls around, I've already made progress in my day, and it would be a good opportunity to stop and switch gears, or maybe go somewhere, handle some things. And with enough notice, folks can get a hold of their boss. I guess I'm looking at it from a professional sense, not necessarily a family sense. Being a single guy, I don't have a family or kids to care for, so that is kind of a different story too with homeschool. But working from home, like I was going to say, is enough planning ahead, you can work your schedule around with your boss, and then by the time 9 o'clock is rolling around, you've already made progress. You can probably pick up in the afternoon. That's my perspective. So
yeah,
I'm a contractor who's in home after home after home, and people definitely are home. Kids at the moment are not home a lot at this point. At least the public schools are largely back. And I really feel like 9 to noon is the way to go. People are dropping their phones and hotspots, and there's so many ways to adapt. I just think if you give them a predictable window and let them know, early and often, so they can prepare for it, I think that's probably the way to do it too.
Yeah, and I just want to add to, even though we're saying 9 to noon or 1 to 4 or 3 to 5, whatever the time we're setting here is, we're adding a little time to it just in case something doesn't go as planned. So we have some extra time for the customers to not say, well, it's 12:01 and the power's not back on. So we're definitely padding some time here, so that our customers can be prepared for. And if it comes back on sooner, And usually does. It usually looks better in the eyes of our customers when it does come back on sooner.
It's familiar to Kevin's remark about
Yeah,
about
under
getting it
promise, right? Under
Absolutely.
promise, over deliver. I actually went to a week-long course there once on that.
So, and
Anything
that's,
else, any more slides, or is there one more? Is that it?
I got one more in Sterling Ponds yet. So this one's going to affect the Sterling Ponds area. We had a driver drive over the roundabout and hit that switch that you see a couple pictures of that we need to change out. And it's going to affect 350 customers out here. And it's also going to affect the corporate park. So this one, being it's a corporate park, we tendency to look at this one a little differently because it's corporate companies that need to have their employees at their company. And this one will for sure be in after hours, depending on the corporate park's timeframes for their employees and their projects that they have to complete during their day. So, and the
Wayne,
residents, go ahead, Scott.
I'm sorry. Go ahead and finish.
And the residents, yes, it's concerned, but the corporate park kind of rules the time frame here. So this could be a Friday afternoon, late afternoon, or a Saturday, Sunday time frame to change this out.
Wayne, do we know who hit it? And is there any ability for us to recover any of our cost and inconvenience from the company or person who hit it?
Yes, we do have a police report and a work order and tracking information to back bill insurance company that was part of the problem here, I guess. It's probably not the problem, but we'll find a solution at the end. So
Great.
well.
Thank you.
Swain?
Any other questions, concerns with slides?
This
The update, Wayne.
is not directly related to the slides, I guess, but I've had a lot of conversations about the condos, apartment buildings, like you showed it, DeSanctis Park is going up. And at what's completed, the one close to City Hall is done now, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
City Station and Depot.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Those
Yes.
are completed.
Very good. Where the motel used to be, is that
is
it's getting close, right?
it's completed on the utility side, from what I understand. I'm sure there's
Okay.
still plenty of
Sure.
work here yet.
I know DeSanctis has a ways to go there. Multiple buildings there. And then there's one more. Oh, the buildings by the high school.
Yeah, there's 3 buildings up that has all meters installed on the electric side. There's 4 or 5 buildings, 4 and 5. They're being installed now, and building 6 is basement's been getting poured as we speak.
And are we expecting, Scott, you might know this, the block kind of after the dentists, as you cross the bridge going south? I know that were some things in the work there. Is anything happening there?
I attended virtually a planning meeting where the developer spoke and proposed a concept for some units there, and I think they're working. I think that's working its way through the plan commission. It was a much better plan than the original one that was proposed. It still has some density. I think. Well, I'm not even going to say because I don't want to get quoted. There's a number of units on there that will have some density. In other words, by density I mean more than a single family. or even a duplex. So that probably is a ways off. I know there's also some interest in what's going on the old McEwen block, and I think that's going to start to surface in different committee meetings, Plan Commission first, and probably city council. So there's a lot of development going on around town. There's no doubt about it. I just toured this afternoon at 4:30 the DeSanctis property, the Milltown project. The first building is done, fully occupied. The second building has leases already. I think they're fully leased up on the second one. They're hoping to occupy the first one in June 1st. They're hesitant yet to give out dates for the second building, but it is coming along. So that project is moving at a pretty good pace, and it's filling up, and the demand that's out there is showing that it's there. Talked a little bit about their market rates and rents and so forth, and they appear to be a little higher on one or two and lower on some others. So they're still trying to find the market, but the demand is there, and they actually say they've got enough demand to start to fill the third building, but they're reluctant to start signing any leases yet because of construction dates and construction costs and some other things. So good progress going on a lot of projects around town.
Good answer. That was more information than I thought I'd get. It's kind of town gossip. People are definitely asking, there's a lot happening and they just want to know. So good. And we're
yeah, I would say the exclamation point there is they're building them and they're getting occupied.
Right.
That's the takeaway.
Patrick, Mark here. I've got a question if I could.
Sure.
It might be for Wayne or for Kevin. I'm curious about the Sterling Ponds incident. Did I understand it was like on the other side of a roundabout or on top of it, or is there some way to protect this, or is this just an anomaly?
Wayne can talk to that. It was near the roundabout though, and about protection, it was ways off the road. But Wayne, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, it was off the road. I mean, it was off the right of way. I mean, they come basically from the Sterling Ponds area, and we're heading through Radio Road for whatever reason, didn't turn, and there's all kinds of protections we could put in place, but ballards being one of them. But I would never have guessed that this would have been ever hitting. And luckily that it didn't do more damage than it did. So.
Okay, thank you.
Then lastly, Ron has, I think, 2 slides, maybe 3, with an introduction slide, just talking about a couple things he's working on. And they'll pull that up.
So yeah, Kevin asked me to talk a little bit about the North Interceptor and how that project is going. And I think about this started, we started picking an engineer right after it started in February of 2016, and I think probably March or April, Reed Ronsky at the time started the process of picking an engineer. So we're at right now, as you can kind of see, that's the length of the project. That's the road it's going to take, what you're looking at on your screen. With what happened last year and looking to maybe shave some money off the project, I think what we kind of took a different approach and maybe do it in phases. We have our base bid, which would be the work that was done first. You can see that it goes from the beginning, which is right behind like River Falls Heating and the food pantry, right in that area, up to just north of Powell Avenue. And then alternate bid 1, as you see, that goes up, takes off from the north of that and goes up to the lift station, eliminates North Main lift station, and we'd have a new crossing under the river. And alternate bid 2, that is, it's just a short section that runs up Powell to a few houses along there. So what we were going to do, we were going to bid it with the alternates, assuming that we do the base work. And if the alternates came in super low, we'd consider doing the whole project. And we'll see, I guess. The water sewer work actually hasn't gone too bad as far as prices. I mean, not a lot of steel involved and some of the other high expenditure items. So we'll see. We're not there yet. We're not ready for the bid. So where we're at right now. So right now we're in the permitting process. We've applied for our sewer permits, our stormwater permit. As you can see, that St. Croix Pond there's going to be a reconstruct on that also. So the big one right now, though, is the wetland permit. We're running along the river, so that's sitting right now at the DNR and the Army Corps of Engineers. And as part of that whole process, you have to do a survey with the State Historical Society. So it sounds like they've identified a burial site, so we're working through that process right now. Some forms to fill out. Crystal Raleigh she's been kind of taking care of that end of it, and we have a meeting with the consultant tomorrow to kind of touch base and to go over some of this stuff again. But probably as it sits, hopefully we get out to bid by sometime beginning of July. So that's where that is right now. If anybody has any questions.
This was a great reminder, Ron, because if bids go out in July and August, we'll probably be in front of this commission, your board, and you'll be approving some contractor work for this project.
Right. So yeah, we'd be looking at probably doing construction winter of 2021, 2022. Be good to get in there when the ground's froze. As part of the easements we have on that property, we're required to start construction by January 1st, 2023. So that's kind of the reason for the phasing too, to keep it moving. And so we just need to follow along. I know those easements were tough to come by. We want to retain them now. So if there's no questions on that slide, Lene, you can go to the next.
I was gonna say, some of you have been on the board long enough to remember that you approved that route. Some of you don't remember that or weren't here. It's been a while.
So yeah, because right now it actually runs down St. Croix Street, and part of the review process was the upset that would cause to the business and the residents. It wasn't worth trying to redo that, and it was a pretty expensive project in the blacktop. So this is south of what I just showed you. This is existing. So what we're looking at doing along this portion, so this is from the river crossing all the way down to Division. So you're looking at the Division Main Street Bridge at the lower part of the picture. And the outlined area is what we want to do. We want to line that potentially, probably like maybe February of next year of 22. So we've identified, we did get in there, we televised it all. It's a hard area to access right now. Part of this is we'd have to build a road to get in there for the lining trucks to get in. But we got to look at it. We have quite a bit of seepage into that pipe. So there's actually water flowing into our sewer main that's adding to our flow, adding to what we treat at the lift station. There's not a lot of contamination, or not a lot of, like we normally look at BOD suspended solids, it's groundwater, but it's still water. It's a hydraulic issue we have to deal with. So it'd be good to eliminate that, secure that pipe. And then, like you can see on the lower part of the frame there, when the two projects are complete, so we'll either have new pipe, or the pipe will be lined all the way from North Main Lift Station all the way down to Winter Street right across from the power plant. So that whole area will be rehabbed. We lined from City Hall down to Winter Street in 2020. And then up by City Hall, as part of that development there with the apartments, part of that sewer was redone. So that was all new sewer put in there. We had some back pitch issues in there that were taken care of. So it's been a long time coming here, but hopefully the end will be in sight. So
it's just really a key piece of sewer infrastructure. It is the backbone of our sewer infrastructure for everything north and center of town. So it's good. This will be really good when this is all done.
Any other questions for Ron? All right. Thanks, Ron. Glad to hear it's going well. So, does anyone have any announcements before we look to adjourn here?
Patrick, I have something that I would like to say to the group, I guess.
Sure.
So kind of a big shout out to Mike Noreen and the team for Saturday. I kind of snuck down there and watched from a distance, and I mean it was smooth. It was smooth, and kind of did a little poll of people coming out of there, and I said, asked them, any concerns or anything, and they said no. Everybody was just excellent and fast. And then I did go over and talk to Mike for a little bit. Said the electronic recycling was going very well. So, Kevin, do you have anything that?
No, we were wondering because last year it was a super big hit. Part of that reason is because everybody had the COVID year to stockpile all their electronics. And we went what I would consider a little bit over budget last year. And so this year, I think we're closer to our original budget. And it hit the people it was intended to offer the service to. And Mike and those contractors do a real nice job getting people through the line and offering that service to get rid of your electronics. So yeah, good call, Mark. Hats off to Mike Noreen and getting that done.
Absolutely, yeah.
I think Mr. Morissette was there, weren't you?
I was, and I waited in line for, I didn't think too long. I got there about 10 after 9, and I think I was done by about 9:30 through the line, so about 20 minutes. I did like the change of approach instead of coming off of Main Street, coming off of Quarry Road. I think that was better for traffic. I think the police enjoyed that a lot better than having to manage people parked all the way up Main Street as well. I thought it was very quick, and I got rid of a whole bunch of good stuff. And then, of course, we've got the citywide cleanup coming in May, which is one of my favorite times. One of the best days of the year for me. Don't tell my wife that about her anniversary, but I really enjoy that day a lot too. So,
and we'll take note on the traffic. So, Renee, we'll flow traffic that same direction.
Good. That's a good plan.
I don't have anything else, Patrick.
Okay. We'll look for the email relating to May 3rd for our quick meeting. So just be aware of that. And other than that, anyone want to make a motion for adjournment?
Come on, folks. I made all the other motions. Come on.
Yeah. I'm with you, Scott.
I move adjournment.
And a second?
Okay.
Thank you, guys. All right. It's been a good meeting. Thank you. And we'll see you soon. I adjourn tonight's meeting. Take care, everybody.
Very good. Thanks, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.